Magda's Tortillas por Becky Chavarría Charres. Ilustraciones por Anne Vega. Mira, abuela, look! Magda Madrigal had just washed her little hands, and now she presented them for inspection. It was time to get to work in her abuela's kitchen. Magda fidgeted with excitement. Today she was 7 years old, and Abuela Madrigal had promised her that on her birthday she would be old enough for her first tortilla making lesson. Magda tried to imitate Abuela's every move. She had even pinned her hair in a bun, just like her grandmother did. Magda flapped her apron and then tried to reach behind her back and tie it on without looking too, but she couldn't. Magda did not want to admit that she needed a little help, but finally she tugged silently at Abuela's little finger. At the kitchen table, Abuela took a ball of harina from the large mixing bowl and dropped it onto the cutting board. She poked it with her little finger to see how soft it was. Magda poked it too. "Qué fácil," she said to herself. It was softer than the clay she played with at school. Magda had watched Abuela make tortillas many, many times, ever since she was a little girl, so she felt sure that her first batch of tortillas would be as perfect and round as Abuela's always were. Abuela looked at her granddaughter with a little smile. "Lista, Magda?" she asked. "Are you ready?" "Sí, Abuela, I'm ready," Magda said with an eager nod. Abuela put the first bolita of dough at the center of the cutting board. Magda made two tight fists and smushed the ball flat. The dough felt soft and warm. Magda patted down the masa, grunting with effort. At last she stood back to see how her first tortilla looked. "Ay, mira!" sighed Abuela with admiration. But Magda hung her head down. "Yucko, Abuela," she said. "That's not a tortilla." "No es yucko, mijita. Look at what you've made," Abuela said proudly. "Un corazoncito, a little heart." "What?" Magda said, blinking. Her head rose slowly, and she looked at her abuela with wide eyes. It was a little heart. "But it's not supposed to be a heart," she cried. "I wanted a round one like you make." "Well then, try again. Ándale." Abuela sounded just like Magda's mama when she gave orders at home. Magda took a deep breath. This time, she decided to use the rolling pin. Then, she remembered that her abuela always dusted the pin. Magda reached for the fine white flour. Un poquito, abuela suggested. Just dust it on like bath powder. Magda closed her eyes tight. She pressed down on the ball of dough. Up and down, side to side, up and down, side to side. Magda struggled with the rolling pin. She was determined to make the tortilla nice and flat and round. At last she put the rolling pin down. How did her second tortilla look? Magda slowly peeked out of one eye, then the other. She crossed her arms and pressed her lips into a ball. They looked like a tiny ball of pink dough. "Abuela, I give up," she blurted out. Magda stomped out of the kitchen in a puff of flour. "But why? ¿Por qué, mijita?" Abuela called to Magda's back. "Come, look at this star you've made. It's the Christmas star, la estrella de Belén." Magda was already halfway down the hall, but she stopped. "What?" she whispered to herself. Back she scurried to see what Abuela was talking about. Maybe Abuela saw something Magda hadn't. The tortilla did have 5 points, just like a star. Suddenly, Magda realized this was no time to give up. Tortilla making wasn't as easy as she thought it would be, but it certainly was full of surprises. Magda took the rolling pin again and kept rolling out the little balls of dough. After 6, 7, 8 balls, she had just as many different shapes. Magda longed for a perfectly round tortilla, but not one was just like her abuela's. Magda made a heart, a Christmas star, and a banana. She even made a hexagon. At least that's what her older brother Eduardo called it, and he knew everything about geometry. She made a cloud, a football, and a flower. Abuela told Magda that one with its squiggly edges reminded her of Los Lagos, the lakes near her hometown in Mexico. Alongside Magda, Abuela rolled out even more tortillas, enough for Magda's merienda, the afternoon snack time that would be given today in honor of the birthday girl. Abuela's rolling pin seemed to dance and jump, up and down, back and forth with a bumpity thump tum tum patum. Abuela didn't even watch what she was doing, and yet each tortilla she made came out the same, perfectly round. They were as round as clocks, as round as car tires, as round as pizzas, Magda thought as she watched her abuela work. Each tortilla looked as if she had just used a cookie cutter to shape it. Oh, how Magda wished she had something to make her tortillas round too. Es todo. That's it, sighed Abuela at last. She rolled out her last perfectly round tortilla and headed for el comal, the hot griddle on the stove. Soon, all the tortillas, Magda's and Abuela's both, were freckled on each side with brown blisters hot off the comal. Abuela asked Magda to call in the entire family to get ready for la merienda. Meanwhile, she stacked her own round tortillas high on a plate. Then she put Magda's tortillas on her best party platter and placed it in the middle of the dinner table. Magda wasn't eager to serve her tortillas. Everyone will laugh at the funny shapes, she thought to herself. She hid behind her abuela, covering her ears and pressing her face into the big bow on abuela's apron. Even so, she heard a wild outburst. Magda's big brother Eduardo, her little brother Gabriel, and her cousins Karina, Marisol, Lucy, and Martin were all shouting. Abuela jumped at the noise, and Magda pressed her hands even more tightly over her ears. Me first, I'm the oldest, she heard Eduardo say. No, me, squeaked Gabriel. I'm the littlest. He hung on to the edge of the table, standing on his tiptoes. Well, I'm the hungriest, said Karina. Magda couldn't see what the fuss was about. She swallowed hard and slowly peeked around Abuela's elbow. Pero los niños had not even noticed Abuela's plate. They were fighting over Magda's tortillas. Well, mijita, said Mommy, I know you have the best teacher, but you also have a special talent. My Magda is a tortilla artist. Sí, es cierto, Abuela agreed cheerfully. Mira, our Magda is very talented, said Tío Manuel. Magda had to see for herself. She stepped out from behind her abuela, dusted off her little hands, and took a look at the platter with all its different shapes. A smile came to her face. Magda beamed at her own accomplishment. A tortilla artist, she whispered to herself. Sí, muy talentosa, boasted her papi. Tío Manuel grabbed his camera and quickly snapped a picture. Soon the tortillas would be buttered and gobbled up, but he would save this proud moment and Magda's one-of-kind tortillas for the family photo album. A second later, the children swarmed around Abuela, who was still blinking from the flash of the camera. Teach me, they all shouted. Ay, no, lindos, Abuela replied sweetly, putting her hands out to shush the children. ¿Por qué? Why not, Abuela? Little Gabriel said. The room became quiet as the children waited for her answer. Abuela put her hands on Magda's shoulders before she spoke. Miren, chiquitos, I know how to mix the harina, and someday I'll show each of you, said Abuela. Pero Magda is the artist. Only she can show you her secret. What an honor to hear such a compliment from her abuela, who made such perfectly round tortillas. Magda felt very special and grown up. Thank you, Abuela, Magda said. Then she pulled at her abuela's apron to get her to bend down. Tengo un secreto, she whispered. I have a secret. Dime, hijita. You can tell me, Abuela coaxed. Magda put her arms around Abuela's neck. I don't care how many tortillas I make or how many shapes I create, she said. Your tortillas will always be my favorites, mis tortillas favoritas. I will never make them just the way you do. A little tear rolled into the deep lines of Abuela's smiling cheeks. Then Magda gave her grandmother un abrazo, an abuela-sized hug. A moment later, Magda had another idea. She snuggled up a little closer to ask, Abuela, when can you show me how to mix the dough? Abuela chuckled. Mira, she said, how about if we do that next year on your 8th birthday, mi linda? Magda's face lit up. She could hardly wait. But first, Abuela added, you need to make more tortillas for your merienda. They're nearly all gone already. Ándale, Magda. Sí, Abuela, Magda said. But what shape should I make? Abuela burst out laughing. Oh, mi linda, anything you like. It's all in your hands now.